Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We are finally here with more comic book content. It has been a long time coming. But we are here. Today we have a huge comic book haul. We went to Free Comic Book Day and we walked out with so many things. We ended up getting like $250 worth of comics for under $100. It was like a little over $80 and it was awesome. So we're going to go through and show off everything we got.
So this is actually our first year participating in Free Comic Book Day. I've heard about it for years, but if you are like me previous to last weekend and didn't know what Free Comic Book Day was or why it's a thing, let me explain. So Free Comic Book Day was founded by essentially the comic book industry, and so a bunch of very popular publishers in the comic book world put out free issues every year for people to pick up at their local comic book stores and to read through, and it's based on the idea that there is a comic book out there for everyone, so this is for people who may not have gotten into comic books yet and really want to check it out, etc. So a little context as well I wanted to explain, because I didn't know about this until the lovely Gail Simone explained it on Twitter. If you don't follow her, do recommend. So basically Free Comic Book Day is not free for the comic book shops to host. So our philosophy going into this was we wanted to get some of the free content, but we also wanted to support our local comic book store, which we already do, but we especially wanted to do it on this day. So we're going to go through not only what we got for free, but also what we picked up on discount and full price as well.
Which, quick shout out to our local comic book shop in Dallas, Texas, Red Pegasus Comics. We went there, we had an awesome first Free Comic Book Day. We got so much free stuff, and they're a really cool shop, so if you're in the area, you should check them out.
I will leave all of their info down below, their social medias, as well as their website if you're interested.
So when you show up to Free Comic Book Day, at least the shop we were at, they had a bunch of different free comic books. A ton. And so they're like, you can have as many as you want. So we got one of like everything that we were interested in, which was most of them.
Yeah, we didn't pick up everything because we didn't want to pick up things that we definitely weren't going to read or look at. Like, there's no reason for us to have it if we're not going to check it out. They also had a ton of free merch. If you watched our our Detective Pikachu review, it's Pokemon. We have little Detective Pikachu hats and some other stuff as well. We got this lovely poster as well as this really cool Spider-Man poster that you probably can't even fully understand, but it's amazing. Anyway, so they don't only give away free comic book issues, they give away a lot of other cool shit too, so you should go next year and support your local comic book shop.
So we're just going to go through these and talk about, I guess, our initial thoughts about what we think about reading these. And so, first one is a Buffy and a Firefly comic in one.
So excited.
So, I've heard mixed things about the Buffy comics. Some people say they're good, some people say they kind of ruin the canon, so we'll see how these
They're
go.
both by Dark Horse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we also picked up one that I don't even know what this is. I think it's based off an anime.
It's witchy. Sounded intriguing.
Witch hat. I can't say that word, so I have no idea. We'll read it. We'll see how it is.
Well, I also picked up a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, or I guess you picked this one out. And then also this Catwoman one, because it's Catwoman, why not? So I'm excited about this one. I don't know if I'll read this one. Steven probably will, though.
Next up, we have this one. It's called Barrier, and it's very interesting. It's by Brian K. Vaughan, so very popular comic book writer. It's all vertical.
I've never seen that before.
It's very interesting, so this will be an interesting read. We typically like his works, so we'll see how this one is. And then I got this Year of the Villain, DC Comics. I don't know, looks like DC standard fare, so we'll see how it goes.
We also got this Avengers one, which Avengers is a hot thing right now. I'm interested. We got Captain Marvel in there. We got She-Hulk, which I'm very interested in. We also got this one called Grumble versus the Goon.
I don't know what that is.
I know nothing. It looks intriguing.
Then we got a sweet Spider-Man comic. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so always good for more of those. And we got a Stranger Things comic as well.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I didn't know they were making any comics for Stranger Things.
It makes sense, though. I feel like that world would translate well to comics, especially the color palette. Ooh. We also picked up a Vampirella. The guy who's running the booth really recommended it, and it sounds intriguing. It also says that a new series starts here, so this is the first one, I guess. And we also got a Pokemon one, because we're all about Pokemon right now.
We got a My Hero Academia issue, whatever it's called. Issue. And love this anime, highly recommend, so interested in reading this. And then we got this one called Animosity Tales. Clearly has something to do with animals. I don't know what it's about.
Oh no, the cover looked cute.
But it looks interesting, so cool.
So we also picked up a Spawn, which is a superhero from Image Comics. I've heard the name, don't know much about it. And then Steven picked up this Cristiano Ronaldo Strike Force, don't know why.
We're probably not even going to read this one, I gotta be honest.
We're not sports people.
I just grabbed it. I didn't even read the cover.
Well, it looks like
cool.
it's got a little bit of a superhero twist to it, so could be interesting.
We'll see if we ever read it.
Maybe.
We got this Bloodshot. I don't know what this is. I've never heard of it. Could be good, could be bad. Let me know if you've seen it before. Yeah, we'll see. And then we got this one, Interceptor. This one looks pretty cool. Has a cool art style on the cover. Looks pretty edgy. We'll see how it is. I'm gonna say that about every comic. We'll see how it is.
We also picked up a Deadly Class comic. We have watched part of the first season for this show, but we need to catch up on it. I was intrigued by it, and I know that's based off comics, so I'm interested to dive into the original characters. And by far my favorite one that we picked up that I'm very excited to read is a Doctor Who one based on the 13th Doctor, which is our newest Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker. I'm excited.
We also had a little free comic book day Lumberjanes copy, which you have read some,
I have
right?
not read. I own Lumber. I have owned the first volume. I haven't read it yet, though.
So I haven't read it either. Looks good. Heard good things. Excited. And then we also have, it looks like a couple different
oh yeah, the back
ones.
has several listed.
Nasquatch, WrestleTopia, Hellicious, B-Squad, and Griffin. A couple different issues all in one. Looks interesting. You know, a little smaller comic book makers, so we'll see how it is.
So that wraps up all of the issues that we got that are the free comic book day labeled issues. So before we move on with the video, head down to the comments. I'm very comic book focused today. Head down to the comments and let us know what out of these free comic book day issues that we just went through you would be interested in seeing a little more thoughts on. We are going to do a try a comic video on these. If you don't know what that is, I will link our previous one so you can get an idea. But basically, we'll go through a few of these and let you know our thoughts in a video. So let us know down below. Rewatch this section if you need to, and choose which ones you're most interested in, and we'll do a whole video on it. So our next section is going to be what we got out of the quarter comic bin. Both of our local comic book stores have this bin. I don't know if all have them, but basically it's all single issues that you can get for a quarter a pop. And we like to rummage through these and get first issues in these series so we can do more try a comic tag things. So we'll talk more about that at the end, but let's talk about what we picked up.
So we have some weird ones in there, because if we see a volume 1 for something we've never seen before, we're probably going to pick it up. And this one is Cave Carson Has an Interstellar Eye. Looks funky. Looks like it has a pretty cosmic art style, so I'm actually interested in reading this one and seeing how it is. Another one with a very interesting art style that I've never heard of before, Cemetery Beach. It looks like it has a pretty black and white art style that also has some red thrown in, and
I think this is a more violent one if I remember flipping through it.
Pro tip, if a comic is black and white
with
and red, it's probably going to be bloody because they like to do that and have all the blood so the red really pops on the page.
Please see all Hellboy comics. We got this one called Lilith Dark, which has a little girl riding a T-Rex, and that's all I needed to pick this up. We also got a first issue of Marvel Knights, which Steven was really excited about when he saw it, and I know nothing about.
This is a great run of Marvel Knights in general. Has a lot of good runs, good characters, so I saw it and I was like, number one, heck yeah. With more comics I've never heard of, this one is Croak. Looks eerie, looks pretty cool.
Look at the back. Ooh,
yeah,
spooks.
Yeah, it has a cool, creepy cover, so this one looks interesting. And then we also have a Defenders #1, except the Defenders squad is like way OP compared to like what you think of the Defenders. Like, not Marvel Netflix Defenders, no, this is freaking Namor, Silver Surfer, Hulk, and Doctor Strange. Talk about overpowered. Looks interesting. Has a very cute little Stan Lee homage at the top with his dates, yeah.
Continuing on the superhero train, we've got Iceman, which I haven't read any of the comics for. I'm only familiar with the X-Men movies, but Steven likes the character.
One of my favorite X-Men, and I'm excited to read that one.
And then I also got this other one based on cover alone, because that's kind of the best way to go through these comic book bins, is something you already recognize or something that has an interesting cover. And this is called House of Whispers. I know nothing, but the cover looks cool.
Another number one, this is Faith and the Future Force. I have no idea what this is, what it's about, but fun fact that I just found out, it's from the same people that make Bloodshot, the other one from our free comic book day. So maybe this is going to spawn a whole thing for me, I don't know. And then we also have a Supergirl comic. I think Supergirl is an underrated DC character, and this one could be interesting, I don't know.
I also picked up this Age of Conan, how do you pronounce that? Belit?
Belit?
I don't know. But she looks cool, so why not? It reminds me of the, what was it? It was the one we did in our last comic book haul that was like the Thor universe. It was like Thor's sister or something, long lost. You know which one I'm talking about? It reminds me of that.
I'm blanking on
I don't know,
right
it's
now.
somewhere back here. But if you watch that video, you know what I'm talking about. And then the last one I have is a Captain Marvel one. It's called The Life of Captain Marvel. I only have one volume of Captain Marvel so far, and I want to get more. But it's not from this run, I don't think. This is a different run.
Looks different.
It looks different. The style is much different. But I'm currently in a I want to consume all Captain Marvel content mood. So, yes.
Now the last one we got is Youngblood. Looks to be some level of young superheroes. Looks interesting.
Right.
I don't know if that's supposed to be who even is this? Is this a third party?
It looks third party.
I was gonna say these characters look like fake Thing, fake Hawkeye, fake a bunch of superheroes that I've never heard of. So could be interesting. And that is all of our small issue comics that we got that day. So clearly a lot of them. Like we said, let us know down in the comments which ones we should definitely check out. And we're
going to do another video based on this whole section as well. 2 separate videos for these 2 sections. Let us know what you want to see in the comments.
So now we're moving out of our small issues. We're going to our larger volumes. They had these paperback box that was like 70% off. So I was like, I have to spend all my money.
That had more than just paperbacks in it.
Yeah, and you're going to find out right now. So, starting off, I got this DC Universe Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman comic, the Holy Trinity of DC, and I don't know, it looks pretty good. I've never heard of this. I wasn't drawn to it for that reason, but you see Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman hanging out on the cover, 70% off. I'm like, heck yeah, I love volume style. I like it more than just the single issues. The convenience of being able to read a larger story all in one, worth it. I think where I really won on this day was finding sequential issues, volumes. So I actually ended up getting the Uncanny Avengers, and unfortunately they didn't have any volume 1 issues, but I got volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, and volume 5, all for 70% off. It was wild. I was like, when is it going to be better? And this is a pretty good run that I've heard of.
This is my favorite comic cover out of all the ones that I think you got.
Yeah, this ties in a lot with the Axis event I know that Marvel did, and I don't know, I've heard this is a good run. I'm excited to read it.
Now you gotta hunt down volume 1.
Yeah, I will. So, rounding out my personal haul is I actually found these hardcover Future Foundation comics. So they're hardcovers. Once again, volume 1 was missing, but I got volumes 2, 3, and 4 in hardcover for super duper cheap. It was wild. So you have volume 2, volume 3, and then you also have volume 4. And this is a Hickman run. He is a solid. If you've never heard of him, you should probably check out most of his stuff. He's a very talented writer for these comics. And I've heard great things about this run. And you also get a lot of cool, fantastic Four stories, which I feel like are a little lacking. People don't go search out the Fantastic Four a lot, and I think this is one of those runs that you should.
And while we had already spent actual money on our quarter comic books and also on our big discounts that we just mentioned, we still wanted to buy a full-priced item because I know that our comic book shop is probably not making a ton of money off of those purchases, not a lot of, margin for those. So we wanted to buy something full price, and we decided to continue a series we are currently collecting. For those of you unaware, Joe Hill has a comic book series called Lock and Key. We got volume 2. So the reason we are collecting these is not only because it's Joe Hill and these are beautiful and the concept is interesting, it's also because it's being adapted into a TV show. I'm not sure when it's supposed to be released yet. IMDb says 2019 and I have doubts. But we still want to start collecting all the volumes, but because they're nice, well, we're choosing to get the nice hardcover editions. They're a little expensive, so we've been trying to find them at discount shops, etc. But we went ahead and bought this one full price. If you're curious, if you haven't heard of this, this is about a group of 3 siblings, I believe it's 3.
I think.
Who go to stay at an old family estate, and there are a bunch of mystical keys to different rooms, and a otherworldly / demonic force something is trying to steal their keys. And I've heard this is so dark and gritty, and I'm very excited to eventually read it. So future videos coming soon as we know when this show's coming out.
So that is our whole haul. There was so much. There's so much we have to read now, and we're very excited to get into them. But, like we said, a couple of those we're going to be saving for our videos. We are going to do 2 different videos, one for the quarter comic haul and one for our free comic book day haul. And the way those videos work, you know, like we said, go check out the ones in the past that we've made, but we read them and we basically kind of decide if we would actually continue that run, that series, and that's kind of why we always aim for the number 1s. So we're going to have 2 of those videos coming up. Make sure you leave down in the comments if you've read some of these and they're worth a read, which ones we should go for, because we will be reading those comments and adjusting our choices to kind of work with those.
We hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy our comic book content that we're trying to bring more to you guys. Please give us a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more, not only comic book content, but also tons of other media content that we do. We do movies, TV shows, book reviews on this channel. So if you're interested in any of that, please subscribe and join our BS Review family, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye.